Hey, what's going on, everybody? Christian Ballard, Ballard Sports Media, coming at you with a team preview today. It's in April, mid-April, whatever. And I realized I got to get back to doing some of these. Some of these I've already done and looked at some of these teams. I think I forgot to cross some off the list, but definitely. Let me go ahead and say this. If there's a team you want to preview with me, let me know who your team is. You don't even have to be a fan, but like there's people out there in this community that I think it would be great to collaborate, do a live stream and talk about it, just record a video. But the goal is still to get every Power Five team this offseason, and we got to get back into it. It's mid April. We have, 4 months, less than that until August comes around. We got about 3.5 months until week zero. So, uh, looking forward to it, but we got to get back into it. We have done a few SEC teams so far. We've done the ACC. I think we did go ahead and do Clemson, I think. So, and we did Florida State. So, today we want to look at Miami, and we'll have to get started on like the Big 12 and everything like that, and get back to some SEC, do some Pac 12. Pac 12, there's only like, what, six teams now, five teams, not very many. So we can go ahead and start trying to knock those out. We definitely want to do conference week this year back in June or July. Uh, and during conference week, we try to find time to do on the live stream, and then we'll clip them for team previews. So we'll try to get it going. We'll get back into it today. We want to look at Miami though, and this is interesting because Miami 7-6 last year, and honestly, I don't know where to start with Miami. They did have their spring game. Uh, Quarterback talent, really, really good, but they have got to utilize the portal from what reports have said. And I even watched a little bit of their spring game. The running back situation seems a little off. Some of the receivers, some of the offensive line. Uh, Cam Ward comes in, used to be, was it Washington State? And he comes in. He's been around for a long time in college football. But, Miami has talent around him that's it's good, but is it good enough? And honestly, I would just say they're a mid-tier ACC team. I'm not even gonna say they're a bottom tier. They're not a bottom feeder. They're not at the top, though. They're not with Florida State or Clemson or Duke or what these teams could be this year, or Louisville. You could throw them out there. They're just middle of the pack, which isn't bad, but obviously, there's expectations for Miami fans and players, and probably even the coach and Mario Cristobal, that they want to take that next step. They want to go further. And when you look at what they did last year, 7-6, 3-5 in conference play. So you're above 500 overall. You're below 500 in ACC games. And they lost their last game. They were able to beat Boston College. I think a key loss that really stood out to me. Now, you could say that it was a turning point for Georgia Tech, but that Georgia Tech game, man, I felt like they should have had that in the palm of their hand, and they did for a while. But Haynes King and Georgia Tech just went off. I think it was Haynes King in that game. Georgia Tech had a couple different quarterbacks, but there was games like that. But what's crazy? Here's the thing: they lost to Georgia Tech. They lost to Louisville. They lost to NC State. Those are not bad teams. Not at least from last year. They lost games like that, but they were able to beat Clemson. They played it close with Florida State. They beat Boston College. They made a pinstripe bowl. And I mean, they squeaked by to a bowl game, but they lost to Rutgers. Uh, and, uh, and they lost it close. And here's the thing: outside of the NC State game, which was 20-6, you look at like 27-20, 38-31, 31-24, 41-31, 23-20. They were close games. So what's the goal for Miami? Is it to take that next step to say we can compete, but we got to finish, right? I would say that, and I think they got a lot going for them. I really do. So it's you know Colby Young is a wide receiver. He uh, he leaves, but they're looking at Jacoby George and Isaiah Horton going to be the two key receivers for this year's team. They got to find a running back. This is per reports. This is from All Hurricanes SI. This is like kind of their recap of their spring game and what these experts have assessed. I haven't really done much on my own like into this, but I mean I did watch some of their spring game, and what I did see, my assessment was the offensive line needs to step it up a little bit. I think that they do need to utilize the portal as much as possible. I haven't even looked at who's out there in the portal, but I mean, they could use some help at running back. Defense is always key for Miami. I, I don't know about their pass rush too much. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not subpar. Like, it's not perfect. It's not going to be perfect. The secondary could use a little bit of depth. I think I think recruiting. I think you're always going to have good recruiting for Miami, but I don't know if it's up to what we would expect with Mario Cristobal. So I don't know how else to put it other than Miami has their guys, but they need a little bit extra to give them a push to hopefully go and compete for the ACC, which I don't even think is going to happen this year. I mean, I think they're going to be good, and I think they're going to improve and get a couple more wins, and they'll be one of the like they're more on the upside of the ACC than they are the downside. And I will give a record prediction, and I will give my at most where this is it. This is they're not hitting more than this many wins. Like, and it might surprise people. I don't know, but I look at their schedule, and honestly, there's teams on there that just blow my mind. First off, they don't play Clemson. They don't play Clemson. They well, They don't play North Carolina either. So they don't play teams like that. If they did, you're looking at they're barely getting to a bowl, in my opinion. Let's just go ahead and screen share here from FBSschedules.com and look at what they have for their schedule. I want to zoom in a little bit, but we'll put it like this. So, right out the gate, they play Billy Napier and the Florida Gators. Then they play Florida A&M. They play Ball State. They play USF on the road. Virginia Tech, California. These are teams that they probably should be. I don't have any banners for like the trap games or anything like I did last year. I just, kind of, I'll throw up banners for the records that I predict. But I would consider Virginia Tech not an upset, but that could be a trap if you're overlooking them a little bit because you got to take a trip to California. Then you get a bye week. Then it gets really tough. Like as the season goes on, it's going to get tougher and tougher and tougher. Look at this 3-game stretch here: Louisville, Florida State, and Duke. Those three teams competed for the ACC title last year. And what did you had Florida State and Louisville, I believe? You're gonna have those teams ranked this year. You're going to. Mike Elko is a really good head coach. I'm not too sold on his recruiting, but he's got some key pieces. And yeah, they might have, lost a quarterback or who was it? Riley Leonard. Didn't he go off to Notre Dame? Where'd he go? Someone let me know. But I'm pretty sure he transferred out. Mike Elko comes in. He's at Duke. He's going to be rocking and rolling. We'll look at Duke some other time, hopefully. We're trying to get all these teams this year, but we got to like really click at it. Louisville, uh, I like, I like their style of defense, and I really like. I don't know what it is about Louisville. I don't know what to expect even from them, but Jeff Brom coming from Purdue, Jeff Brom did okay at Purdue. It got to the point he just had an offer. He took Louisville, and he's been in other places like Western Kentucky, and he's you know, well, he he's just got this like attitude, not a really good attitude, but he wants to win, and he's gonna want to coach, and he's gonna want to come in, and uh he's going to help you succeed, help you be successful. So, and what I've read on Louisville, we'll talk about some other time. I've heard some good things about like their running back game and what they bring in. It's going into year two, but he went like 36 and 34 in 6 seasons at Purdue. Then he brings it over to Louisville, takes them to the ACC title. You think Miami's going to compete with that? No, not this year. Florida State, Mike Norvell. I'll be interested to see Florida State this year, losing all these players to the draft, a couple guys to the portal. I mean, Florida State, you would think they're on an uphill climb, right? Or was last year just that magical season? They just happened to miss the playoffs, but then they get blown out by Georgia, and it's like, whoa, what just happened? So I don't know. There's certain teams I don't know about. Florida State has some question marks for me. I would peg Florida State at like 8-4, 9-3, maybe 10-2 if they can. Uh, but Miami, getting back on track with them. They get this stretch here with Louisville. And here's the good part is that they're fresh off a bye week, right? So they open up with all these teams. They could lose that Florida game. I doubt it because I think they're just better than Florida, and I think Florida's in kind of a hole right now. Florida A&M, Ball State, USF, 3 wins. Virginia Tech, most likely a win. California, most likely a win. But then you get Louisville, Florida State, Duke, Georgia Tech, who beat you last year. Got to pull for them with Sea Dog and Rec Talk. Shout out to you guys. I love y'all, man. Love you guys. Wake Forest, Syracuse. There's your schedule. You could cross this one off, ACC championship. It's probably not going to happen. I would take in the ACC this year. I like Clemson. Don't know about North Carolina, but I think Clemson is definitely going to get back to it. They're going to go. They're going to get back into it. I say all this. Miami's got a tough schedule, but I like where they're headed. I like the direction they're going. I my gut feeling says 9-3 at most. And if I had to pick the loss, you're lucky you don't play Clemson. But if I had to give an at most, you're looking at 9-3 or 8-4. I'm going to peg them at 9-3. I think you could get Duke. That's the game that has me in question for 8-4. Is do you handle Duke? Maybe I'm crazy. You could ask me what drugs I'm on right now. 9 wins for Miami. That I mean, look, this this schedule. I think the schedule sets up nicely. I really do. People say, "Oh, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter." Yes, it does. Florida's going to be terrible. That's a win. Florida A&M win. Ball State win. USF. If I'm giving at most predictions and giving it the best I can here, you're probably going to beat USF. You're probably going to beat Virginia Tech. You're probably going to beat Cal. Louisville, probably a loss. Florida State, probably a loss. But we'll see what they look like. Duke is going to be tough. This 4 game stretch is what's going to get you. I mean, you could I think they could easily be undefeated going into that first bye week, come out of it, and then start dropping games. The losses I give you are Louisville, FSU, Georgia Tech, I Duke. I don't. I could see you dropping that, but I don't know. I really don't know. That's tough. Syracuse. Syracuse could be good. Syracuse could be good. That's late in the season, though. Wake Forest. See, you could easily. Let me just say this. I could. I could see no more than 9 wins for Miami. But if you want to talk about the floor, they're making a bowl games. Like they're going 6-6, 7-5. I would peg them between 6-6 and 9-3. No more than 9-3. No less than 6-6. I got to hear from you guys in the comments. I look at Miami. They they have a lot of quarterback talent, which is huge today in college football. And they talk so much about the receivers. They talk so much about how their offense looked in the spring game. And you need that today. So I don't know how else to say it other than Miami's on an uphill climb, at least for this year in 2024. I'm high on them. I'm high on them. Let's go. All about the U. Ballard's all about the U, baby. We're going for it. I love you guys. Let me know how I did. Let me know what I did wrong. Tell me why Miami's gonna miss out on a bowl. Oh, they're gonna screw this up. They're gonna go and blah 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 blah. I gotta hear this. 9-3 at most. That's at most. That's what we're doing this year. How high can these teams go? That's what we want to talk about. I love you guys. Have a great day.